The Torah, Rabotai Karim, has no end. And whatever we say tonight or anything we've ever said before, all few thousand shiurim that we've done, is still not even scratching the surface of what the Torah has to offer. So when a person sees that there's so much beauty and wisdom in the Torah, he or she sees, yeah, this is what I'm missing. I need more of this. And BeEzrat HaShem, this will encourage them to start learning every day, because that's the fuel. So for the sake of sanctifying a Kadosh Baruch Hu's name, you got to do something above the norm, because we're in a generation that does not even know the basics of Torah. And as Rav Yeshayahu Pinto recently said, we're not only in a generation where there's a lot of haters of Torah, like the Gemara says, there's chutzpat izgeh, rude people that hate chokhmah, they don't like Talmidei Chachamim, they hate the emet, and so on and so forth. But Rav Pinto, Shichyeh, said this is a generation where for the first time ever, you don't have to worry about the generation being a TINOK SheNishba, because the Rabah is a TINOK SheNishba, he says. The Rabah is a TINOK SheNishba, which is unbelievable. Now if I said that, it's not a big deal. I say it every week practically. But although not in those beautiful words that he used, I wish I would have thought of that idea. But when he says, he's not, he doesn't say things like that very often. So when he says something like that, after doing, kiruv and helping a lot of people for 25 years already, he comes out and he says we're in a generation where the average rabbi doesn't know the basics of halakha, the basics of midrash, the basics of chumash, the basics of gemara, the basics of anything related to hashkafa, he says. Nothing. They don't know any basics. And yet they're teaching people calling themselves rabbi because maybe they passed the test, maybe they didn't. But every Joe Schmo can call themselves rabbi. He says it's a generation of TINOK SheNishba. How do you know? You look at the students. The average Jew does not even know what HoShana Rabah is. The average Jew does not even know why we have Sukkot. What did we just do for Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah? The average Jew doesn't know. Yeah, but you say, yeah, but the Jew, he doesn't go to Knesset, that's why. No, even if he goes to Knesset. If he goes to Knesset, he doesn't know. And the reality is, Rabotai Karim, is that we have a lackings in the foundation, and we're all lacking. So sometimes it looks like the Torah is lacking. Because people say, oh, listen, nobody, few people are religious in comparison to the whole. So surely the Torah is boring and maybe it's not relevant to today anymore. That's why nobody's reading it. Wrong. First of all, it's the bestseller. No book has ever sold more. Second of all, there's quite a few people that are learning Torah daily and making sacrifices to learn Torah. And third of all, Torah is not lacking. Your knowledge is lacking. And if your rabbi did not wake you up to love the Torah, you may want to think about getting a new rabbi. Why? Because that's his job. That's his job. Now, one of the sugiyot, the complicated issues that I wanted to discuss tonight, is something I've mentioned in the past, but I want to delve into it slightly more because of a new recent chidush Shtabach Shimo I had during the Chag, and to try to give us an idea of what do the Chachamim mean when they say, and how can we apply it to today, when they say that someone that shows mercy to the wicked will ultimately be vicious to the righteous. Because you would think if someone's merciful, even to somebody that's a bad guy, a bad girl, surely they should be merciful and good to good people. It's a good nature. No, you say, because that's what people teach today. They say, no, you should love everyone. HaShem loves everyone, even though it's not true. But, pretend. So now, Rabotai Karim, a person fast forwards to today, fast forwards over the generations. He sees there's quite a bit of a difference. Why? If you see what this Isha Elokim, Moshe Rabbeinu, said during the entire Sefer Dvarim, is a sgula that Rav Pinto has been pushing over the last few years to read Sefer Dvarim once a week on Shabbat. It's a very big sgula, but apparently he says that it's not enough. So he's telling people that they have to do a lot more than just read Sefer Dvarim, because you can have some people, they read Sefer Dvarim on Shabbat, but they mechalel Shabbat. They read Sefer Dvarim on Shabbat, but they go gambling in a casino. They read Sefer Dvarim on Shabbat, but they're filthy, disgusting people. I met some of those people. Remember, you guys actually met some of them too. Remember that guy that used to come and bother us in that place? He would read Sefer Dvarim every Shabbat, and then he'd take the money that he has, go to the casino, go torture people, go lie, go cheat, go this, go that. So Rav Pinto, b'chokhmato, he says, listen, it's good, we got a lot of people to read Sefer Dvarim, Book of Deuteronomy, every Shabbat, but it's not enough. Why? People are reading it, but they're not learning it. If you learn it, you see what Moshe Rabbeinu said. Moshe Rabbeinu said some tough things. Moshe Rabbeinu rebuked us from the first word to the last word. Even the blessing was tough. Everything was tough. So much so that the Gemara in Masechet Megillah says HaKadosh Baruch Hu cried after he took the neshama of Moshe Rabbeinu. Why? He says, who's going to rebuke my people like Moshe Rabbeinu? Who's going to tell them the truth as it is, like Moshe Rabbeinu? So you see, Sefer Dvarim, what Moshe Rabbeinu told Am Yisrael for all these years. And then you see what the Chachamim have done over the years. You go to the Gemara, Masechet Megillah, Masechet Sotah, Masechet this, all of them. See what the Gemara, what the Chachamim talk to Am Yisrael. See Rabbi Eliezer ben Hokinos. Rabbi Eliezer ben Hokinos, also called Rabbi Eliezer HaGadol. There was a drought one year. This is in Ta'anit. I think you guys are doing Ta'anit now. There's a drought. And it's okay, we have to institute a fast. So HaKadosh Baruch Hu has mercy on us and starts making it rain. It's fast and let's go to the shul, not just a diet, not a diet plan. Fast and go pray. So everybody goes pray. Rabbi has been Okinos, they finish the prayer, go outside, it's not raining. And he sees everybody's leaving. And they're all leaving. You know, they prayed, they finished. Chalas, finished, go home now. So as they're leaving, he says, okay, listen guys, just make sure each one of you makes the right measurement for your graves. Make sure it's the right measurement. Don't take too much space, not too little space. What? 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 What are you talking about graves? What are you talking about? We just prayed. We just prayed. Yeah, we prayed. We prayed, but it's not raining. So just make your graves the right measurement. Everybody, the Gdoladot, the biggest rabbi in the world, tells you, go measure a grave. He's telling you, you're going to die. He's not like kidding. He's not like a sarcastic. He's telling you, you're going to die. Okay, bye, bye. Nice to meet you. Don't start hysterical crying. The biggest rabbi in the world told them they're going to die. What do they all do? Start crying, they go back into the shul. Start crying in shul, all of a sudden it starts raining. That's what Kadosh Baruch Hu wants. Kadosh Baruch Hu wants your heart. So you see Rabbi Eliezer ben Hokinos, one of the biggest rabbis in the world, the way he rebuked his people, not politically correct, telling them you're going to die. Somebody comes today, he says to people, listen, by the way, if you all do TeShuva, you're all going to die from coronavirus next week. They're going to lynch the guy. But the biggest rabbi in the world, no problem. No problem. You see what some of the biggest rabbis in the world said in their books, Rav Wasserman, the Ramban, all these different things. You see, pach, one after another. Even in halachic books, responses. You see, when they're talking about judgment, they're talking about deen, they're talking about all these different things. Musar. It's not just for Musar, it's halakha also. The tool writes, if you haven't seen your friend in a year, you have to do a special blessing. Why do you do a special blessing? Like you miss him? No, not because you miss him. You didn't see your friend for a year, you like your friend, you see him for the first time, but you know he went to a vacation, he went to Hawaii. He went to the Kotel. He went to Yeshiva for a year. Went somewhere. You didn't see him for a year. You see him, you had to do a special blessing. Why? Why do you have to do a special blessing? This is because since you haven't seen him in a year, surely a Rosh Hashanah has been during that time. Judgment Day has happened during that time. And the fact that he's still alive is a miracle. You should do a special blessing. Judgment Day happened during that time you didn't see him, a year. It's a miracle he's still alive. This is an halachic book, it's not a Musa book. Halachic. So you see the Gedolim, how they talk? Different language than the people of today. Different language. Moshe Rabbeinu, everybody says Moshe Rabbeinu is the best, but they don't talk like Moshe Rabbeinu. They say the Gemara is the best, but they don't talk like the Gemara. I have some people that I know that learn Gemara. One guy told me he's 5 Masechtot from finishing the Shas. But the first time he ever heard about Geinom is for me. So how is that possible? Which Shas are you learning? Was the kindergarten Shas? Was it as pictures in it? What kind of Shas is this? Was it a Shas of history book? What is the Shas? Where do you think I get the information from? Where do you think I have like a special books? Never heard about Geinom. So would you skip all half the Gemara? What'd you do? Every Gemara talks about it. No, but the rabbi said this. No. I don't know. Pick a different rabbi. What can I tell you? So how come? How come there's all these difference? The truth is, Rabotai, is our ego is so big in this generation. It's so huge in this generation. We think that we are more merciful than HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Why? We want to be nice to everybody. So we say, no, everybody's TINOK SheNishba. Everybody's TINOK SheNishba, everybody's a captured baby. Why? We have from the Gemara, in Masechet Avodah Zarah, they say that during those times, the Christians, Yimach Shemam v'Zichram, used to steal Jewish kids. Take Jewish kid, steal them, kidnap them, and raise them as Christians. So the kid will grow up not knowing that he's a Jew. So the Chachamim ask, is he judged like a Jew? I mean, he doesn't know he has to keep Shabbat. He doesn't know he has to keep kosher. The Chachamim said, no, surely he's a captured baby. So then later on, Chachamim, especially at the time of the Rambam writes that the Karaites are not TINOK SheNishba. They know, but they choose otherwise. But there are some people that are TINOK SheNishba, but then people completely destroy what the Rambam says, meaning they take his words out of context. Say, no, the Rambam says that anybody that's secular is TINOK SheNishba. Completely false. Go look at the Rambam, you see completely false. Nonsense. But then they fast forward, and they say this. In a book, and it's again, I'm not picking on this book, but just so happened that I got this today, a question from somebody today, and it's a very common issue, and I figured that Kadosh Baruch Hu sent me to this today because apparently he wants to talk about it today. There's no other reason for him to send it today. He's got this 500 times already. Why today? Now what they're saying in this book is standard knowledge and teachings of today. And it's wrong. But it's in the book. It's in the book, but it's wrong. And I'll explain to you why it's wrong. And in fact, our goal today is to explain to you why you want it to be wrong. As religious or as secular as you are, you want this to be wrong. Now, on the first hand, you're going to think, no, it's right, it's good, it's nice, it's very nice to people. At the end, the chidush is going to be, you're going to want it to be wrong. A book called Chafetz Chaim, A Lesson a Day, with commentaries by a couple of Rabbanim, Rav Shimon Finkelman and Rav Yitzchak Berkowitz. Surely they're Talmidei Chachamim, but this is a mistake. Kvodam b'mkomam, but this is a mistake. Why is it a mistake? They write, page 162 of this book, Lashon Hara and the non-observant people. Meaning, this whole book is in essence supposed to be based on the teachings of the Chafetz Chaim, but the person that was reading it didn't understand that it's not the Chafetz Chaim actually writing this. It's their commentaries on the Chafetz Chaim's work. But Chafetz Chaim doesn't say this, what they're saying. In fact, he says the opposite. And this is what they say. Based on the rules we have just studied, the rules of Lashon Hara vis-a-vis the totally non-religious Jew become clear. 1. The average non-observant Jew today has been deprived of a meaningful Jewish education. Whether or not he has been exposed to Orthodox Jewish life, society has prevented him from taking Torah seriously. Rambam compares such a person to a TINOK SheNishba, a kidnapped Jewish child, whose kidnappers reared him with non-Torah ideals and whose transgressions are committed out of ignorance. Such a person may be in a category of both Amecha, meaning your people, and Amito, your fellow, or his fellow. It is our obligation to educate him with love, care, and sensitivity, and it is strictly forbidden to speak Lashon Hara about him. So here they paskin, and they say that this is in essence in the name of the Rambam and Chafetz Chaim, that it is forbidden to speak Lashon Hara about a Mechalel Shabbat, secular person, because everyone's considered a TINOK SheNishba. If you don't go to Yeshiva, Mil, you don't go to Lakewood, Monsey, Yerushalayim, Yeshiva, your father is a half a rabbi or a full rabbi. No, you're TINOK SheNishba practically. Yeah, you were raised by secular people, you're TINOK SheNishba. And I say that the Rambam said this in essence, and Chafetz Chaim said this. Neither one said this, by the way. In fact, we read the Chafetz Chaim just the other day. Chafetz Chaim says everything that he's talking about in regards to Lashon Hara is only about someone that's considered Amitecha, and he gives a definition. What does Amitecha means? Your nation in mitzvot, meaning he is just like you by keeping mitzvot like you. You keep Shabbat, he keeps Shabbat. Okay, if he keeps Shabbat, you keep Shabbat, not allowed to say Lashon Hara about it. But if he doesn't keep Shabbat, he's not part of your people. Allowed to do whatever you want with him. Not allowed to talk to, you're allowed to talk Lashon Hara about him. Chafetz Chaim says you're allowed to talk Lashon Hara about it, but they say no. They say no. Second thing they say on this page, a non-observant Jew who did receive a meaningful Jewish education, has been taught Torah values and knows what he is doing is wrong, but claims that observance is too difficult, is a rebel due to temptation. He is considered part of Amecha, your people, which means that Lashon Hara may be spoken of him only if it is for a constructive purpose. Someone that knows about Torah, but is Mechalel Shabbat anyway. They're saying, no, it's too difficult for him, so he's still part of your nation. So you're only allowed to say Lashon Hara about him if it's for a constructive purpose. Wrong. Rabbi Yonah says to speak Lashon Hara about somebody, this is a mitzvah from the Torah. Why? He is considered a soneh HaShem. He's considered like he hates HaShem. Especially since he knows. Consider like he hates HaShem. So it's wrong. Now, the average person says, why are you so extreme? Why don't you just give them a free ride? What do you care? What do you care so much? Why don't you just make everybody secular? It's TINOK SheNishba. What do you care so much that everybody's TINOK SheNishba? What's the matter? How about this? After you understand this, you're going to want everybody not to be a TINOK SheNishba. First off, what is a TINOK SheNishba? TINOK SheNishba, we just explained, is a captured baby. Now, the TINOK SheNishba that people talk about today, your average local heretic, thinks that a TINOK SheNishba is a free ticket to heaven. This is wrong. A TINOK SheNishba is an halachic term of how you treat a person in this world, not in the next world. Meaning, if somebody is a Mechalel Shabbat on purpose, and he knows the Shabbat exists, but he might violate Shabbat on purpose, he is considered an idol worshipper. According to the Rambam, Ilchot Shabbat, chapter 15, halacha number 30, last halacha. He's considered an idol worshipper. And if he touches your wine, you're not allowed to drink it. Why? It's considered as if an idol worshiper touched your wine, you have to throw it in the garbage. You can't sell it, you can't do nothing with it. You got to throw it in the garbage. Because an idol worshiper, you see from Gemara Masechet Avodah Zarah, it says idol worshippers used to serve their idols, even to this day, with wine. So you don't know if he just picked it up to give you a drink, or in the same process he did a blessing for Yoshke or something. You don't know, so you're not allowed to drink this wine, you have to throw it in the garbage. If a Mechalel Shabbat Jew touches your wine, I'm not saying drinks your wine, just touches your wine, picks up the bottle like this, touches, you have to throw it in the garbage. But that's only if it's a yain lo mevushal, uncooked wine. If it's cooked wine like the Geffen, grape juice, that's nothing. You can do that, you can drink it, you can do whatever you want with it. Doesn't mean it's not real wine. But it's good quality wine that's uncooked, he touched it, not allowed. You have a wedding, you need 2 witnesses. If he's one of the witnesses, your wedding is not valid. Shchita, slaughtering. You want to slaughter a cow. He's an expert slaughterer, but he's a Mechalel Shabbat. He slaughters the cow in the best possible way in the world. He slaughters it, it's tarif. Not allowed to eat it. Tarif. Shulchan Aruch Paskins like this, everything that I'm saying, Rambam and so on and so forth. Chalvadia. You want to lend the money? Average Jew, keep Shabbat. You lend the money, you're allowed to charge him interest. Mechalel Shabbat, Rabbi Yaron, right? Charge him interest. Now you should. He said charge him interest. Mechalel Shabbat. Why? He's this idol worshiper. Not say hate him, just charge him interest. That's so much Mechalel Shabbat b'faresya. Now, TINOK SheNishba, let's say somebody doesn't know nothing. He just found out he's a Jew last week or something. He grew up thinking he's a Christian, like some of the people that I meet here and there, and finds out he's a Jew. So he doesn't know nothing, he doesn't know what he doesn't know even. A person like this, there's not that many of them, but a person like this, is TINOK SheNishba for real. Him, if he touches the wine, he violates Shabbat, the guy. But he doesn't really know what Shabbat is. But if he touches the wine, you're allowed to drink it. You're allowed to drink it. That's what a TINOK SheNishba means. Meaning it's how you treat him in this world. But, Rabotai, if both of them die, whether it's the one that's doing it carelessly or doing it unknowingly, they die, neither one of them go to heaven. Being a TINOK SheNishba does not give you a ticket to heaven. There is not a single Mechalel Shabbat in the same Gan Eden as Moshe Rabbeinu. Don't ever think that for a second. But that's the problem. The people of today, the Reshaim of today, the heretics of today, the shepherds of today, that call themselves rabbis sometimes. I'm not talking about these two. I think they just simply made a mistake. I'm talking about people that knowing they do this, they are just ignorant on purpose. And tell people, everybody's TINOK SheNishba, they have a whole parking lot of people driving on Shabbat carelessly like Bloomberg and company. Those people, these are the most evil people in the world. Why? They tell people, TINOK SheNishba, in essence, trying to tell them, listen, why, your mom didn't keep Shabbat and she died? Don't worry, she's in a good place now, she's in Gan Eden. Yeah, but she didn't keep Shabbat. She didn't keep Talat Mishpacha. No, but she didn't know, she grew up secular. They give you the understanding that they're going to heaven anyway. This is Kfirah b'Torah. Kfirah in the 13 principles of faith of Schar ve'onesh. There's not a single Mechalel Shabbat that have ever entered Gan Eden. Why? It will be Kfirah. The whole Torah goes in the garbage. TINOK SheNishba is only an halachic term of how you treat him in this world. Meaning, are you going to go to the extent of telling, listen, you just touched my wine? I'm not, it's your wine now. It's your wine, can't touch it, can't drink it. What do you mean? I just get a $500 bottle of wine. It's yours. It's all yours, buddy. Can't eat, can't drink it. Well, I just picked it up. Okay, you picked it up, finished. But that's only if it's open, by the way, not if it's closed. Now, on the other hand, the guy just woke up yesterday, found out he's a Jew, he picks up the wine, no big deal. Okay, thank you, give me the wine, give me one. You want some? Both of Mechalel Shabbat. But you treat him differently, because that's a real TINOK SheNishba. Now, why do we care that the guy that's driving on to shul on Shabbat is a TINOK SheNishba or not? Why do we insist constantly? We've made at least 2 or 3 short clips about this topic. Dafka saying he's not a TINOK SheNishba, and just like Rabbi Yashiv says, there's virtually no TINOK SheNishba in a generation today. There are some, but relative to the numbers, very, very few. Why do we care? We care, Rabotai, because there is a rule in the Torah. If you are merciful to the Reshaim, you will ultimately be vicious to the righteous. So how does anybody, including this book, or anyone that makes this mistake on purpose, now I don't think they made this mistake on purpose, I don't know them, but anybody that says everyone's TINOK SheNishba blindly, without, just because they got secular education. Yeah, but he knows Shabbat. He has a Bekneset 3 blocks from his house. He goes to shul even once a year during Yom Kippur. He's still TINOK SheNishba. Yeah, he doesn't really know the whole thing. Why? He's not a rabbi, therefore he's a TINOK SheNishba. So anybody who's not a rabbi is TINOK SheNishba. What kind of nonsense is this? Anyone that says such a thing, it's being vicious to the righteous. Why? For the same exact reason of what the Chafetz Chaim stands for. What do he stand for? Emet. What emet? Gave us the entire Torah on a silver platter. Ben Adam lechavero. You between another person. Don't say Lashon Hara. No one spoke about Lashon Hara more than the Chafetz Chaim. What does Chafetz Chaim say? Chafetz Chaim says you're not allowed to say Lashon Hara. The Rambam writes, someone says Lashon Hara one time, it's safek if he has Olam HaBa. But someone that says Lashon Hara on a regular basis, and lo chelek lo Olam HaBa, he has no share of the world to come. Chafetz Chaim says, but if the guy is not part of Amitech, he's not part of your nation, you can say Lashon Hara about him. How come some people that write a book in his name say, no, you can't say Lashon Hara about the TINOK SheNishba, the guy is secular, no, he's TINOK SheNishba, you can't say Lashon Hara. Why? Rabotai, let me ask you a question. How many times did you hear Shiur, whether it be me or countless other people that speak in the world, mention the term Lashon Hara? I don't think there's a Shiur that doesn't mention it a little bit. How about that? It is probably the most common term mentioned in every Shiur Torah that exists in the world. If it's not the entire Shiur about it, it's a little bit about it. You mention it as a side note, Lashon Hara. Even the secular people know what Lashon Hara is. They have little bracelets they put. Lashon Hara doesn't speak to me. Like even they know it's not good to do. But the truth be told, how many of us here watching, can really have our hand in Shamayim, Yishtabach Shimo La'al HaKadosh Baruch Hu, when we read the Vidui HaGadol, the Vidui HaGadol of Yom Kippur, Yishtabach Shemo, HaKadosh Baruch Hu told, gave us an opportunity to say, I'm sorry. But when we got to Lashon Hara, I said, no, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, nah, this one I didn't say a word. Why? I heard a shiur from Rabbi such and such. He said, don't say Lashon Hara. From that moment on, I never said Lashon Hara again. Who can say that? Who can say they don't say Lashon Hara? Who? You say Lashon Hara without knowing. You say Lashon Hara without knowing. Why? You have to know the details of Lashon Hara. Promise you, I talk to you a lot. Baruch Hashem, you say Lashon Hara without knowing. Okay, I'm lying then, okay? Beseder. The point is, Rabotai, every single person says Lashon Hara unless, you know when you don't say Lashon Hara? When you're glued to the books. When you're Rav Kanievsky, you're too busy learning about HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's when you don't say Lashon Hara. If you have any spare time, you talk to your wife, you talk to your parents, you talk to your co-workers, you talk to your friends, by default, you're going to speak Lashon Hara. Why? You're going to mention somebody's name. You're going to mention somebody's name. Oh yeah, you hear what he did? What did he do? He bought a house. Lashon Hara. Oh, you hear what he did? What? Oh, he just got married. He made a lot of money. Talk about people. Who gave you the right to talk about people? Who gave you the right to talk about people? No, I'm saying something good. Who says that he wants him to know? Maybe it's his enemy. The details of Lashon Hara are huge. So much so that when the Chafetz Chaim came out with the book of Lashon Hara, he told Rav Guzinski, the Gdol Ador, he says, Kvod Rav, tell people this is important. He goes, listen, this is important like it's worse than eating pig. He says, Kvod Rav, so tell people this. He goes, no, I'm sorry, I can't. But you just said it's worse than eating pig, saying Lashon Hara. He says, yeah, it is worse than eating pig, saying Lashon Hara. He says, so why don't you tell the people? He says, because if I tell the people it's worse than eating pig, people are going to start eating pig. He said, I was saying Lashon Hara anyway, might as well eat pig. Meaning what? Meaning that no matter how many shiurim you have watched and attended, unless you've gone to the point where you're glued to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you are still saying Lashon Hara, even if you're trying not to. Needless to say, if you're not trying. Meaning what? Meaning what? Meaning, Rabotai Karim. Now, since all of the people that watch Shiur Torah on BeEzrat HaShem and on Torah anytime and on divine information and on Hidabrut and on everything else, they're trying to do TeShuva, they're trying to get to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is side of mercy, is side of love and everything else, trying to do the will of HaShem. Trying, you watch Shiur Torah, you do mitzvot, keep Shabbat, keep everything else, but still we fail here and there saying Lashon Hara. That's why on Yom Kippur, we say, I'm sorry HaKadosh Baruch Hu for saying Lashon Hara. That's what we say in the Vidui, 7 times. We say it. Why is it in it? Because all of us fail here and there, knowingly, unknowingly. We fail. And we say, I'm sorry. Shtabach Shemo. He says, okay, no problem. He says, I'm sorry, no problem. I love you. I love you. But what does it mean, though? It means, Rabotai Karim, we're all guilty. We're all guilty of Lashon Hara. But the Chafetz Chaim gave us the Emet. And the Emet will set you free. What's the Emet? He said the emet is that if you're saying Lashon Hara about a secular person, it's a mechalel Shabbat, it's not Lashon Hara bichlal. It's not Lashon Hara, he's an idol worshiper, it's not Lashon Hara. It's not recommended to say Lashon Hara about him because it's a bad trait, it's not a good thing to do, morally, but it's not a sin. Why? He's an idol worshiper. What did the Chafetz Chaim do for us over there? What did the Rambam do for us over there? What did Rabbi Yonah in Sha'arei TeShuva do for us over there by telling us the full details of the emet about our brother, the secular person? He set us free. Why? Most of the Lashon Hara is about who? The majority of people. What's the majority of people? Secular people. Majority of people are secular people. You say Lashon Hara about him, you show up to Yom Kippur, you're a criminal. Why? According to these people, say it's Lashon Hara. No, Chafetz Chaim says not Lashon Hara. So you show up clean. So what happens here? By telling us that you're not allowed to say Lashon Hara about a secular person, what did they do here? They were merciful to the secular person. Say, no, he's part of your nation. And by being merciful to the secular, they ended up becoming vicious for all of us Shomrei Torah v'mitzvot. Why? Because now, according to their psak, we're all Ba'alei Lashon Hara. Because who do we talk Lashon Hara about? The secular people. We don't talk about tzaddikim Lashon Hara. Talk about regular people, right? Or at least we try, no? So that's the thing. You try to make the secular people not look so bad by saying, oh, no, they're TINOK SheNishba, don't say Lashon Hara about them, it's not nice, it's no good, they're good people, this, that. Okay, fine, I'm not saying they're bad people, but the secular though, the mechalel Shabbat. No, they don't understand it. Okay, so you want to be nice to them. But Torah says don't. The Torah says, yeah, you try to do kiruv, that's what we do for a living, that's what we do every day, night and day, everything else. But by saying a different emet, meaning sheker, and saying I'm not allowed to say Lashon Hara, I'm not allowed to say Lashon Hara about them, it's a sin to say Lashon Hara about them, what did you just do? You made all of us criminals. Why? Because anyway, people are going to fail for Lashon Hara here and there. Hopefully it's just here and there. And according to the real psak halacha of the Chafetz Chaim, it's not Lashon Hara, so it's not a sin. And by telling me it is Lashon Hara, guess what? You made me a sin. You made me a sinner with your mercy. You see, Rabotai, this is how you have to stick to the emet, as harsh as it sounds, and at the end it's in your benefit. It sounds harsh. You could say Lashon Hara about your brother, the secular person. It sounds harsh. You could say Lashon Hara about such and such person. He's a really nice guy, but he's mechalel Shabbat. Sounds harsh. Oh, why are you not nice? Why are you not nice? Sounds harsh, but in reality, that's the biggest mercy in the world you can do for yourself. That's the biggest mercy in the world that Torah can do for you. Why? Because you're going to say Lashon Hara anyway. You want it to be a sin? Bechabad, go make yourself a sinner. Changing the Torah, trying to soften it, hardens it. By trying to soften it, you harden it. By trying to soften it, you made it worse. You made it worse. You made all of the religious people in the world Ba'alei Lashon Hara. Thank you. Now, do you really want to know who are the real TINOKot SheNishbu in the world today? I heard this from Rav Mizrahi Shiur, and it's 100% emet. Right now, Rabotai Karim, statistically, it was reported that at the very least, there are now 60,000 Israeli girls married to Arabs, Palestinians, terrorists, came to them, pretended to be Don Juan, pretended to be charming, got him a nice little bracelet, maybe a car, maybe this. Yalla, come meet my family in Syria. Come meet my family in Iraq. Come meet my family in Gehenom. Come meet my family over there. They took her home. Hey, Ima, this is Fatima. What Fatima? I'm not Fatima. I'm Sarah. No. Fatima. Tell my mama Fatima she's going to kill you now. From now on, you're Fatima. They took her home and they married the girl. After that, SheNishba, what happened to this girl? Many times they rape them, torture them, and do all types of horrible things to them. But guess what though? Right now, average Jewish girl, 60,000 girls that they know about. There's probably many that they don't know about. They have 10, 15 kids. Because the Arabs don't believe in any type of limitation in having children and so on. Hence the reason why they're growing like fleas. Average girl's given 15 kids, 10 kids. What does that mean? Halachically, when the mother is Jewish, all 10 little Arab Mustafas are Jewish. All little 10 kids are Jewish. But they grow up in Arab world and they get insulted, Yahud, ya kalb. Because the neighborhood knows the mom is Jewish. They don't like this guy's a Jew, even though their mother's Jew in this. So what does he do? He starts hating Am Yisrael. Because he said, no, I'm not a Jew. I'm a Muslim. Look, my name is Mustafa. My name is Ahmed. My name is, whatever it is. So what does he do? He becomes a hater of Israel, and he joins what? College? No, Mapitom college. University? Mapitom university. What do you guys? What does he join? Hamas. That's what he joins. Hamas. Meaning, Rabotai Karim, somebody that knows, I heard this from Rabbi Mizrahi, and I'm sure there's plenty of other sources for this. There are countless, some even say as much as half of Hamas terrorists that kill Jews for a living are Jews. Are Jews. Now that's a TINOK SheNishba. Why? That kid doesn't even know he's a Jew. Doesn't even know he's a Jew. Number one. Number two, doesn't know what it means to be a Jew. Number three, he doesn't even know what a Jew is because he just hates them so much for no reason whatsoever. And guess what? One of them just came to me last week. A few Baruch Hashem Muslims came to me in the last few months. Apparently they like me. But one of them came to me, says, listen, I never really hated Jews. But my family always hated Jews. I never understood why, so I started looking into it. And I liked it. But when I told my family I want to be a Jew, my father gave me a beating of a lifetime, almost killed me. So, he says, on my dead body you're going to be a Jew. In Arabic. So I decided I'm going to run away. Before I left the door, my mother called me by the head, says, come. She gave me papers. She says, you don't have to convert. You're a Jew. You take these papers to the Rabbanut, you tell them this is who you are. This is who I am. You're a Jew already. Somebody came to me in the last week. But that's a TINOK SheNishba. Why? They never knew what a Jew is, B'chlal. If he violates Shabbat, it's very different than, little Yaakov that grew up in Netanya, in Israel, driving a car on Shabbat. Very different. Why? Yaakov saw there's 500 Batei Knesset everywhere. But the guy, it's a Hamas member, that's TINOK SheNishba. That's TINOK SheNishba. On the other hand, something very odd is that there are many, many Russian Israelis in the IDF, in the Israeli Defense Force. Because over the last 20 or so years, 30 years, Israel is one of the countries that likes immigration. And they invited the Russians to come visit them and come stay there. And under the precept that they think that they're actually Jewish. But just about a year ago or so, the government itself reported that 96% of the million Russians that came to live in Israel are not Jewish, like they originally thought. 96%. And where are these Russians now? They had kids in Israel. Those kids went to the army. They're now in the Israeli Defense Force, thinking they're Jews, but they're not religious. Guess what? They're not Jews. So what's happening now? The IDF is fighting Hamas. The Goyim from the IDF are fighting the Jews from Hamas. Another thing, Rabotai, you have the Pashtuns. The Pashtuns is somewhere in the neighborhood of 16 to 30 million of them in Afghanistan. People went to see who they are, what they are. They see that they keep many of the biblical laws. They have tzitzit. They do the shchita like the Jews. They do brit milah. They keep tarat mishpacha, which the Jews are the only ones that keep tarat mishpacha. Family purity. Go to mikveh and so on. Keep a lot of the biblical laws. Pashtun, 16 to 30 million of them. But they don't have the oral Torah, so they're missing a lot of things. Those are TINOKOT SheNishbu. But you know what the world calls them? It doesn't call them TINOK SheNishba. You know what they call them? Who wants to guess? Taliban. Taliban. That's the word calls them. Now, of course, there's a difference of opinion about certain things, but this is what it is. This is what it is. There are countless Jews in Africa, Biafra, Nigeria, and so on. Or some people say, no, they're not, they are, they're all intermarried. Point being, Abutai, is that, yes, if, let's say, certain places like in Biafra or Nigeria or so on, that perhaps some of them have had intermarriage, some of them haven't had intermarriage, most likely will have to go through conversion, some of them, or all of them, if they want to be recognized by the world as Jews. But the point being is, whether they do or they don't, the fact is, there's still some of them are missing some mitzvot. I have many of them as students. I have thousands of them that watch the Shiurim, they're students, they watch the Shiurim and so on. And guess what? They don't know basic stuff. And they get to know, they watch, they send questions, Baruch HaShem. And guess what? They're TINOKOT SheNishbu. Why? They didn't have the oral Torah available to them. Many of them came from a family that was very poor and so on and so forth. Some of them even slaves and so on. So the point being, Rabotai Karim, is that you can't just throw the terminology of a Torah, TINOK SheNishba, anywhere you want. Why? Because by doing that, you're not being merciful, you're being vicious. Because there are real TINOK SheNishba, and there are fake ones. Most of them are fake TINOK SheNishba. To call an average kid that lives in Brooklyn, New York, in Queens, in Los Angeles, in Florida, in Israel, anywhere, in different places in France, places like that have a lot of Jews, to call somebody like that TINOK SheNishba because he went to public school, it's completely nonsense. He knows the synagogue exists, he knows what Yom Kippur is, he's attended the school, he maybe had even a bar mitzvah. It's TINOK SheNishba, nothing to do with him. And guess what? Even if you find a TINOK SheNishba, captured baby, you find him, you gonna leave him captured? Get him out of the cage. Tell me, Habibi, you are a Jew. Okay, I'm a Jew, so what? No. Let me tell you what that means. It's not just a Jew, 3-letter word. Maybe in Hebrew it's a few more letters. No, it's more. It comes with a package deal. No, but I don't want it. Doesn't matter whether you want it. Kadosh Baruch Hu wants it for you. Start telling him what a Jew is. Hey, Jew, you have to keep Shabbat. That's it. Get him out of the cage. Why? Because if he dies a Mechalel Shabbat, he's not going to heaven. And guess what? Neither are you. Neither are you. No, but I keep Shabbat. Yeah, you keep Shabbat, but in Shamayim they say you're Mechalel Shabbat. Why? You made a TINOK SheNishba, but you kept your mouth shut. You didn't give him a CD. You didn't give him a flyer. You didn't give him a link. You didn't give him a word of Torah. You didn't tell him nothing. You kept your mouth shut. Guess what? You are the reason why he stayed in a cage. Imagine HaKadosh Baruch Hu has his kid. He's looking for him for 3,300 years. You found him in some cage in a corner somewhere. He said, wow, you're in a cage, huh? How do you like it there? I'm good. Okay, I'll see you later. You go up to Shamayim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, no, so what did you do for 100 years I put you in the world? No, I did this, I built a business, I got a boat, got 3 houses, 6 kids, kept Shabbat, learned a few pages of Gemara, I did good, okay? No. He goes, no, you're Rasha, Hashem says to you. What do you mean Rasha? I didn't kill nobody. He goes, yes, you did. You killed the Gedol Ador. What? What Gedol Ador? What are you talking about? What Gedol Ador? You killed the biggest rabbi in the world. What rabbi in the world? What are you talking about? Hashem, I never met the biggest rabbi in the world. I saw him on YouTube. No, you killed him. Who? You saw that kid in the cage? That was my son. That was my son. He didn't know what a Jew means. You saw him, you left him in a cage. That kid, if you would have told him about Shabbat, he would have immediately become a Jew. Within a few years, he would have become one of the biggest rabbis in the world. But because of you left him in a cage. You said, oh, you like it over there? Okay, I'll leave you over there. Because of you murdered him. And what do you think? You're going to go to Gan Eden and my son's going to go to Gehinnom? No chance. No chance. That's what happens, Rabotai. When people try to play with the Torah, even the basics become blurry.
B'Shem Hashem Na'aseh v'Natzliach, we're very excited to offer you the new BeEzrat Hashem app 3.0. It's a newer, faster app full of Torah, lots of Kedusha by the Shiurim that we do, myself, Rabbi Efraim, Rav Chaim, where you'll have also newer features where you're able to use the app while you're using other applications on your phone. You'll be able to share the lectures directly from the app. You'll be able to donate online and support our Cube and our Torah work that we're doing. And the most exciting feature is that you'll be able to actually ask questions directly on the app and get answers from the rabbis directly from the app. This is something unprecedented, and Baruch Hashem will be able to offer it. Thank you again for all of your support. Check it out. Make sure you have the kosher Torah that will re-energize your neshama each and every single day. Call to B'chavatzlacha.